All right, awesome. All right, well, thank you for taking the time. My name is Chris Foster with the Foster Company. And there's a lot going on in the commercial loan arena. My pitch for the last couple of years has been, specifically the last year has been, the term that I will use today is called resi-mercial. And what's going on out in the markets are changing. We're starting to see more advantages of the residential realtor, and most importantly, the residential lender start to dip their toes into the commercial arena. And so anyways, my name is Chris Foster, and I'm the owner and founder of the Foster Company, graduate from Humboldt State University. I've got a finance degree, and I've been in the commercial lending business for 23 plus years. My office is located in Whittier, California. And now my screen doesn't want to go. Well, now it's froze on me. Lucky me. Oh, this is great. I've never had this many technical difficulties.
It's okay. We have patience here.
Bear with me. I apologize.
Yes. Okay.
So am I Jesse here?
No, his name is Chris.
All right, one last time. We're going to try this one last time. I think they can hear me. All right. Can you hear me? All right, cool. Thank you. All right, so let me get back to it. So there's the end result is, and again, I apologize for the problems. It's not usually doesn't happen like this. I'm usually in person and everything goes great. But anyways, having to deal with this. The end result is there's a lot of turmoil right now in the commercial arena. You can Google it. You can talk to your reps out there. And what's happening is there's a storm that's brewing out there. And I'm going to start out by one of my good friends here, Mr. Chepelak. He says, and there should be no reasons for you not wanting to get into the commercial arena, but he says, give me an excuse and I'm going to ask you for your calendar. So if you're making excuses on why you can't get ahead and why you don't want to do commercial and everything in the world, I'm going to ask you to inspect your calendar, and I'm going to guarantee you the message will change. Commercial real estate assets, there's actually 6 assets. You've got apartments, you've got industrial, you've got mixed use, you've got offices, and you've got retail. And what's not on here is what we call special use properties, which are your gas stations, your golf courses, all the good stuff that you can only do one thing with. Here's what's happening in the commercial arena. The storm is coming. There's going to be huge opportunities that are coming for commercial real estate, and probably from your clients and referral sources. It's huge right now. The most important thing that you need to worry about is, do you have the necessary resources and services in place to be the solution and to retain and capture your business? And that's very important as you move forward through these next 4 to 6 months. Are going to be very tough. the commercial arena has about $270 billion worth of loans resetting. And I'm gonna get to that briefly and what that'll mean to you. So what does commercial real estate loans reset means? What's happening is there's $270 billion in the commercial arena that are coming due. And what I mean is that means their loans are resetting. Commercial loans run in 3, 5, or 7-year increments. And once they reset, the borrowers have to either take the resetted rate or refinance. And right now, you have a good majority of people. Turn that mute up. You have a good majority of people who loans are going from 3% and they're resetting to as high as 9%. And in the commercial arena, what that means is that a lot more building owners are going to have to sell their buildings. And you want to put yourself in position to be the one-stop wherewithal. I'm going to show you some historical data on what's happening in the US Treasury market and what that means for the CRE market, and why it's important for the residential realtor and residential loan officer to be a resource. It's huge. Summary of what's happening right now. The US banks are on alert over falling commercial real estate valuations. Google it. It's happening right before your eyes. Between July 1st of this year and August of next year, there's $270 billion of loans resetting that are probably only worth about 100 billion, meaning there's a lot of commercial assets that are going to exchange hands. Here's the fact right here. In addition, starting next year, July of next year to December, there's going to be $1 trillion of commercial real estate resetting. It's very, very important you gain the skill sets now to put yourselves in a winning position over the next 12 months. And to be honest, I talk to regional banks all day long, every day. I've been doing this for 23 years. The commercial regional banking system, it's on the cusp of uncertainty. It's huge. And it's a matter of time before you start seeing more consolidations of banks. We already started to see them. So here's what's happening in owner-occupied commercial. So the world that we live in is what I think what you call the FHA of the residential arena. We live in the SBA lending arena, which means businesses that can purchase commercial real estate with as little as 0% down to as high as 10% down, as long as their business will occupy 51% of the square footage. The financing for these types of loan is done, and when you get some time, look into a little bit the SBA 7A and the SBA 504. Write that down. It's very important because, in my opinion, over the next 2 years, the SBA 7A and SBA 504 loans will probably increase by 70–80% because the loans that are backed by the federal government are the loans that the banks are going to be the only loans the banks want to do. Won't get into too much of that. Again, we said the businesses must occupy at least 51%. Non-owner occupied, huge problem in the market right now. So if you know investors that own commercial real estate, it's for investment purposes. Their cash flows are shrinking tremendously. And why are they shrinking? Because their interest rates are resetting. And when you think of commercial real estate, it's 100% based on the money's coming in. And if the money's coming in, stay at the pace they are, yet your loan resets from 2 to 9%, now your margins are shrinking. And so now you can see why the banks are having issues when it comes to the non-owner world. The loan terms for non-owner, they run in 3, 5, 7, or 10-year increments. And currently, you need a minimum of 35% down. And to be honest, that's increasing. You need 35 to as high as 60 to 65% down right now on investment for commercial real estate. So now you know why it's important for us, and it's going to be important for you to really focus your energies in the SBA arena. Because if the SBA arena is backed by the federal government, and if I go door knock 100 doors down the street, and it's for business owners, and I know business owners are going to be at the door when I go door knock, there's going to be programs for them. I'm going to spend my time, and I recommend you spend your time going after those type of borrowers or those type of owners. What the 7A lending 7A program is, minimum of, you could go from 0 to 15% down.
SBA lending?
You could purchase land, you could purchase buildings. There's a 3-year prepayment penalty, and the maximum loan amount is $5 million. $5 million on the 7A. You can use it. Businesses can borrow if they don't own real estate. They can borrow for working capital for your business. They could use it to purchase equipment, machinery, fixtures, supplies. The 7A program is for everything that's business related and real estate related. Most importantly, what I want you to keep in your head with the 7A program, what's happening is the 7A program allows you to finance business acquisitions, to purchase businesses up to $5 million. There's a lot of business turnover right now. The baby boomers are selling their businesses left and right. They're not giving them to their kids. Their kids don't want anything to do with it. This program is very, very crucial if you know anyone that wants to purchase businesses through the 7A program. The 504 program is only for the real estate, has nothing to do with the business acquisition stuff. So when you think of the 504, you only think of the commercial real estate, 10% down payment. There's 2 lenders involved. First carries 50%, second carries 40%, borrower comes in with 10%. The difference between the 504 and the 7A is you can go $10 million on the 504 program. And the 504 program has a 10-year prepayment penalty. The 7A has a 3-year prepayment penalty. These are 4 important terms that you should know. Gross annual income, gross annual expenses, and net operating income. Memorize those terms. That will at least allow you to start having basic fundamental conversation. I think where you should begin, there's memorize this.
Can you go back to the last slide?
Sure.
Before, one more.
Annualized.
That one.
There's a total of 18 words that you should memorize, but these 3/4, the 4th one there is very unique, and that's why you can't really see it. But the gross annual income is the income that's coming in for that asset. The gross annual expenses are all the expenses that are attached to that asset. The net operating income, the NOI, is basically your gross annual expenses, your gross annual income minus your gross annual expenses.
Thank you. At Bats, what means that?
We'll do a class on that for you next month. I'll come out. So what it is a lot of business owners, they show losses, right? Your non-QM borrowers, they like to just show losses because nobody likes to pay taxes. Your number one borrower in the commercial arena that I want you to go target are your self-employed borrowers, your non-QM borrowers. They are going to be the most beneficial for these SBA loan programs to purchase commercial real estate. So when I say add backs, we go to your tax returns and there's certain columns that we bring back to qualify and take your bottom line number higher. And that's a whole class in itself. I think so. Where you should begin, there's a lot involved. Like, there's no trickery. First and foremost, when it comes to commercial lending, you're at the pinnacle of pinnacle lending. Like, you're at the top. It's a whole nother game. At the real estate side, I truly believe that over the next 3 to 5 years, the residential realtor and commercial realtor their model will start to merge. I really believe that. And that's why it's very important for the residential realtors and residential loan officers to gain the necessary skill sets to start practicing in that arena. So start by memorizing the terms, understanding all the lending environment when it comes to commercial. Know the benefits of the 7A and the 504, and know the different CRE asset classes, commercial real estate asset classes. I hear this all the time, right? From residential realtors and residential loan officers. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to evaluate the commercial assets. I don't know what loan programs are out there. And so it's very important. Where I tell you to start is go to your current sphere of influence immediately. Immediately, and tell them that you don't need to be the expert, but your message to them should be that you now have the support services in place to be able to help service their commercial real estate and their commercial real estate loan needs. So start with your current sphere of influence, reach out to other residential loan officers, most importantly, other residential realtors that don't want to do the business but have a ton of business in their book of business. If you know bookkeepers, if you know CPAs, go to them. So current sphere of influence, your non-owner, your non-QM borrowers who own businesses, they're going to be key, especially to put money in your pocket right away. Other residential realtors, bookkeepers and CPAs are very important. Why is it important for the residential realtor to know the basics? Small business owners, they turn to their residential realtors and their residential loan officers first. They don't turn to me. They don't turn to my staff unless they know us. They always go to you. And why do they go to you? You've been in position to represent them on some of their most valued transactions in their life, their homes. So they're going to turn to you. So for you to not want to be involved or know where to turn for this book of business, for commercial real estate and commercial loans, is foolish. Understanding the commercial real estate loan programs will allow you to have more conversations with small business owners. I'm huge on having conversations. I love having conversations, and I require our staff to have a certain amount of conversations on a daily basis, new conversations. But by understanding the basic language, you will be able to put more money in your pocket. The average CRE deal is $1 million or higher and growing fast. We have some people that we train right now, they're in their first and second transactions. They never knew that they can do a commercial deal. They knew their clients owned businesses. And as soon as we stirred the pot, one of them is in a deal right now, $3.9 million, $120,000 commission on a deal in LA. He knew his client owned a business, but he never knew how to approach it. His first deal, he's in escrow, $3.9 million. So understanding all the basics will put more money in your pocket. And this is my favorite. Look, commercial real estate, there's no emotions in this. There's none. I don't like the kitchen. I don't like the bath. I don't like the backyard. Fuck it, it doesn't matter. It's all based on numbers. Does the math make sense? Am I able to buy a building that I was renting before if I'm a business? There's no emotions, and that in itself is a win. The other thing that residential loan officers and residential realtors don't understand, but will understand once they get in the game, is that when you take the business approach that you've been using to nurture your relationships in the residential field and bring that over in the commercial, nobody's doing that. So now you create a whole nother value add element to why these people should be bringing you deals. We've kind of went over the 7A, the 504. I don't want to get into that much here. We know the 7A is 5 million, the 504 is 10 million. We understand all that. I don't want to keep you here too long, so bear with me. If anybody has any questions, please jump in.
Yes, please.
I know you breezed over the aspects of determining the ratios. Is there a formula that you can ingrain within ourselves so that we can better analyze the client up front before we bring them in?
Yeah, so absolutely. So are you a residential loan officer or a residential realtor?
Well,
Okay, perfect. So I'll speak to you regarding the residential, from a lending perspective, a commercial lending. When a deal comes in, right away we determine if it's owner, does your business occupy that piece of real estate? Number one. If the answer is yes, from a flow chart perspective, I take it this way, and I'll get into it. If the answer is no, and I own the commercial real estate as an investment, I'm going to take it this way. Now, let's talk about if I own it as an investment. Here's the mathematics behind it. Write this down. And we'll have an in-depth class on this. And I apologize, and I'll make sure that we do an in-depth class on this. Here's how it works. You're going to take the total annual income for that asset. So total annual income. And right off the bat, you're not going to know the expenses. So I teach my team to do this. Take your total annual income and you back out 40% right off the top for expenses. So you back up 40%. So let's start from the beginning. Total annual income multiplied by 60%. That gives you your NOI, your net operating income. So again, total annual income for that asset times 60% gives you your NOI. You put that NOI on the side and leave it there. You now go find out what your annual payment would be on that asset. So if you know your loan amount, find out what your annual payment would be. Here's the interesting part. All commercial real estate assets, except for apartments, are amortized over 25 years. Apartments are the only commercial real estate asset that is amortized over 30 years. So you remember that. So again, you take your NOI that's sitting on the side, you find what your annual mortgage payment will be off of your loan amount. You put those numbers, so now you have two numbers. You take your NOI and you divide it by your annual payments. And that gives you what we refer to as DSCR. That's the only thing that you care about and I care about from a loan perspective. Now, when it comes to real estate, well, that's a whole nother, a realtor position. That's a whole nother conversation, but let's continue the conversation. So as a loan officer, I only care about your DSCR, okay? If I'm looking at apartments, your DSCR needs to be a minimum of 1.20. If I'm looking at mixed use, your minimum debt service needs to be at 1.35 to 1.40. If I'm looking at offices right now, so you know, Nobody in their right mind is lending in the commercial office space. Everybody has pulled out of the market. The last lender has just pulled out. And that means there's multiple benefits for you if you sell real estate, because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to have to sell their commercial real estate. But staying with that topic, offices right now, the DSCR is about 1.75. Now, getting back to the other flow that I was talking about earlier. So I just talked about the non-owner arena. The owner-occupied arena is a whole nother arena, and that's why I work in that arena. I love that arena. 73% of my business is in that arena. It's all based off of your business tax returns. We go to your bottom line number, and we take that number, and that's our NOI. We do all the add backs, but we could be a lot more creative in the owner-occ versus non-owner. I could do a projection-based deal that I can't do in the non-owner world. So the owner-occ world is based off of your corporate tax returns or your Schedule Cs. And we start at that bottom line number, and it's the same thing. We add your annual pay, divide your annual payments by that bottom number. And for SBA, I just need a 1-to-1 DSCR. Now, from a real estate perspective, commercial real estate, there's more terms involved. There's cap rates, there's cash on cash return, there's gross multiple, there's all these other things from a commercial realtor perspective that we'll have another conversation at another time. But specifically speaking to you about the commercial lending, how we talk about deals and how we look at deals, that's how we look at it. Is it owner occupied? Is it not? And then we work our way down the chain.
Do you serve also Oregon?
Yeah, all 50 states.
Okay, thank you.
And so do you now by having us as your resource.
Yeah, yes.
And that's very important.
Okay, that's great.
When you say land, when you say land, is there a cap on size of land? There's no cap on size of land. I'm reading the question here. As long as it's zoned commercial, we will look at it. Now, we don't spend your time chasing all these dreams that these people will put in front of you. Let me just tell you, there's a lot of smoke out there. They're going to want you to chase these dreams, and you're more than welcome to do it, but I'd rather you be more efficient with your time. So just be very careful on chasing people's pipe dreams.
Do you offer commercial construction in Oregon too?
Yes, commercial construction, owner occupied preferably, meaning your business is building for a spot for you to go and rent in.
Is there a slide up ahead, Christopher, with your contact info?
Yeah,
to send you a scenario on an active deal?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that to you. Sorry.
Hi, Chris, I have a question. This is Angelica.
What's up, Angelica?
I met this builder, so that's all he does. He builds properties. He buys the land, then he builds the properties. He sells them. So he does that. So he just got approved to build 8 apartments. And he was asking me, if I had any financing for that. But you just mentioned that you just prefer owner occupied. So in this case, are there any exceptions? He's looking for kind of a bridge loan type of scenario so that he can build his apartments. He does have the cash, but he prefers not to use it if he doesn't have to.
Yeah, leverage the debt. As long as leverage the debt all day long, right? We're big believers in that. And let me back up when I say SBA, we prefer owner occ all day long because but we do apartment construction financing. So I'm sorry that I mistake my words for that. But yes, and even more so if the plans are approved. Where's the property located?
It's in Fresno.
Yeah, especially in California, all day long for apartments.
Okay.
So the answer is yes, that can be done. It's going to get done through a bridge fund. that only focuses on apartment financing. Those guys are located here in San Diego, but they are part of our team.
Okay, and question for you real quick, more or less, how does that work? Because he was telling me that he's had his corporation, he has never borrowed on his corporation, or anything like that. So, do you guys go based on the rental income, the potential future rental income, or, who do I contact to get more details on that? I don't want to keep people on the phone for that. It says set aside type of scenario.
Write my phone number down, 562
Uh-huh.
562-278-6420. That's my direct cell. Again, 562-278-6420. Call me at any time. If I don't answer I have a team here, but in general, I'll work with you. It's I'll explain everything to you. You could call me after this call too, if you want.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. My point is, like, pass the word. There's a lot of opportunities out there. And to be honest, in my opinion, and I don't like to play the scare game because I'm not about that, but I think the feds are going to do everything in their power over the next 4 to 5 months to yank the borrowing ability of all the banks back tremendously, because next year is an election year. And look, let me just say this. I've never seen the amount of small loans cross my desk that I have this year. And actually in the last 5 months, I'm seeing loans from businesses that want anywhere between 20,000 to 100,000. And I'm talking about 100 calls in the last 3 days. I'm a data person. I'm a finance guy. Like, I study this stuff. Something's brewing. So get the skill set. Don't say no to deals. Let us partner with you. We'll help work our way through and your way through these deals. But just be prepared to service your clients. Educate yourself immediately. And what I do know, in 2008, there were a lot of realtors who had no answers, and most of those people are not in the business anymore. So make sure you have answers. Make sure you tell everyone that you have the support. And when you help clients in crisis, those are your clients for life.
Thank you.
This is just a little bit about us, and I don't want to harp on it. I know I've been in the business 23 years. That's all I do. I've got a staff here. We really, really want to put you in position to win, and that's the end result. And that's why we're here. It truly is. If you know me and you get to know me, you know that that's what I'm about, and that's what I teach. And I don't speak Spanish, but my staff does. I speak enough to get by. But I don't know if anyone has any more questions. Again, I apologize. It makes us look bad. We were supposed to be there. There's a little mishap, but let's make sure the next one we do it big, and I'll make sure that we have all the resources out there.
Hi, Christopher. This is Dominic and the team here in
PDF.
in Oregon. Okay, and I apologize. We missed the very beginning of the presentation, but I saw there that you were saying that we have training and that we can, have someone up and running in 90 days. So are we brokering with you guys? And I apologize if you were stating something at the beginning that I missed. Or is this like a referral over to you? Or what's the training? How does that training process look?
It's a partnership that I've done with ICOR, and we're in the process of finalizing all the stuff now. I met with them, I think, a month ago, and I put it in front of them. We're not fully ready. We're almost ready. We're like literally days away. It's more of a partnership. I am a commercial finance broker, but what I'm doing is I'm partnering with ICOR to allow them to basically market all the commercial real estate finance services nationwide, and to be able to fund them nationwide while everybody makes money on the deal. That's the end result. And most importantly, to get you guys up and running, because it makes sense for you guys. You're not going to know everything in under 90 days, and it's going to take time on every single deal. But to get you guys to the position that you count less on the back-ended resources and are able to function on your own, ideally, that's what's really important. And I think that's going to take a full 6 months to do.
Here in Oregon, we're excited.
Yeah,
We are excited because we've been looking for this, trying to get someone with Just
I-
make it go.
Yeah, so please let us know as soon as that training opens up, when the partnership's finalized, because our whole team would love to start learning this. Thank you,
Yep.
Christopher.
I think it's-
Thank you, Icor.
I think it's very important too. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I'm big on the resi. I call it, and look up the term. I'm coining it resi-mercial. I met a guy at the Inmon Connect conference last week. I was in Vegas, and he was from Colliers International, which is 100% commercial firm. And I started walking with him, and I said, "Hey, why are you here at this event?" And because I was the only commercial guy here last year, and he told me, he says, "Well, you know, Chris, I foresee a single model loan agent and single model realtor going forward over the next 3 to 5 years. And I truly, truly believe that. Become the one-stop lender, become the one-stop realtor, become that resi-mercial movement and get on it. And that's why we're here."
Christopher, Chris, I'm sorry. I just want to ask you a question. So, for being in the 90 days training, are we looking for being like a 30 minutes a day, or how will it work to put something together that we can have the loan officers on board? Because this will give us, more opportunities to bring business to the company, and at the same time, be a source for our realtors that work with us.
Well, I think it's twofold, okay? The train, I would like to, and I'm gonna talk to my staff tomorrow. Wednesdays, I have my staff meetings. I believe that we should probably do a whole separate training only for the Icor team and anyone involved with Icor, and not get you guys mixed in with the other training that we're doing for realtors, which has already started. But I think it would be best that we say, what's the date today? August 4th. I think in the next 30 days, we start to prep a full training program for you and your team. Now, how it will work, it will all be Zoom based,
Okay,
but in the end, it's all accountability of how number one, we work with you on how you curate and organize your data, because we believe it starts there. If we have you curate and organize it in a model of 1 to 5, it'll help you with how you market your message for your commercial services. That's number one. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, and all that's followed, it's no more than 5 hours a week. It's all based off of Zoom and non-Zoom. There's homework that's given, but we expect a lot from you, and you should also expect a lot from us. But most importantly, you're gonna have to expect a lot of yourself and your current CRM that you're working in, because you're gonna have to be emailing from there. You're gonna have to be texting from there. There's a lot that goes in it. If you're a shitty residential loan officer or a shitty realtor, you're not gonna be good at this. You're gonna have to put a lot of focus in what you want out of it, because I truly believe that I don't know who's on this call, but I think you're probably leaving $250,000 of commissions on the table per year, minimum. I see it with my own staff. I know who we've brought in. I know people that are currently in my training program, and I see it. There's a lot involved. So you're gonna have to be ready, and I don't foresee why anyone would not want to put the necessary time and resources. There's like speaking to, I don't know where your Oregon staff went, but speaking to them, I do a lot of deals up there, and there's not many commercial loan brokers up there. I think there's maybe 2 that I've run into, and I fly all over and go state to state. So if I don't even know if they're still on the call, but if they're on the call, like, this is time for them to take market share. Like, now's the time.
yeah.
Hey, Christopher. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Hey, so you mentioned something about all these little loan requests coming, 20, 100,000 coming across your desk. I noticed this morning when I was looking at the WARN report from the EDD that there are over 90,000 people scheduled to be laid off in the next 90 days. How is that going to impact, and who should we be targeting?
Well, whoever's recording this, take word of this, because I've been saying this for 1 year. I truly believe that the layoffs that are coming, I mean, this is coming from you, and I've never met you before, but I read the report also, and it's scary.
It's insane.
It's insane. And let me tell you, that's only the beginning. And I hate to put it this way, but this is what I think is the only model that's going to cure the inventory problem for residential real estate. Because the people that are going to get laid off, they have equity in their homes. Okay, we know that. They're going to have to make decisions. It wasn't like 2008 where everybody started losing homes. People have equity in their homes. And if they start getting laid off, from the numbers I read, 40 to 60% are going to want to sell their piece of real estate and get out of here and go somewhere else and find a position somewhere else. So it's going to affect everything across the board, from realtors to businesses, etc. Now, we've taken risk-averse steps to lend less money on those smaller loan requests to account for what you just stated. So it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. What's your name, by the way?
Jose.
It's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. And so that's why it behooves you not to get all the skill sets. You already have the residential. Sounds like you know the residential loan. You might as well start adding business acquisition skill sets, add commercial real estate skill sets. I'm all about a person being a jack of all trades, because I really believe that's where the model's going, as long as the support services are there for you. But it's going to get ugly.
So now when you say business acquisitions, are you talking about the owner occupied businesses that are going under
With
and acquiring those assets or positioning ourselves to do so?
So from all aspects, number one, let's say the business doesn't own the real estate, but they want to sell themselves. So when I say business acquisition, that's what I mean. So there's a lot of businesses out there that just want to sell themselves because it's time. Your license as a realtor allows you to sell these businesses. Now, there's a lot that comes with it, because valuating these businesses, you better make sure you know what you're doing, but your license allows you to. And in that arena, you collect 10%, okay? And a lot of the business brokering world, you're representing both sides. 90% of it, they're representing both sides. So when I say business acquisition, I mean that. Now,
So you're talking about just strictly FFA and goodwill that is being sold with the customer base and versus an asset that's owned by an investor?
yeah, so we'll get to that. So yes, on their first topic, yes, the business goodwill, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, any contracts that are related to it. So they just want to sell the business, right? Number one. Number two, if the business wants to sell the business and they want to sell their commercial real estate that's attached to it, you want to be there in position, because now you have two transactions going on, okay? Number three, you just mentioned something, non-owner. A lot of these guys that have commercial real estate that don't know what to do because of these resets, and I have 10 on my desk right now, so I can tell you that right now. They're all over the place, and you're going to start hearing about them more and more, mark my words. But they need to sell that asset. You want to be able to either be there, A, to sell the asset, or maybe you have an investment group that you start putting together and maybe you get involved. So there's multiple arenas, but until you start comprehending the lingo and the wherewithal and the valuations, et cetera, you know, there's other avenues to get involved with.
Are you familiar with Clear Capital?
Of course, very much so.
So I'm getting a lot of requests for the commercial stuff.
Yep.
Is that what you're talking about? That's coming down the pipe?
Absolutely, it's coming. That's exactly it. I would love, I mean, it would be good. I mean, it would be good for you and I to, and your team at ICOR and all of us to piggyback on that, because you stating that, it just opens up the doors to a lot more. And yes, that's huge.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So this isn't something to be scared of. This is something to prepare yourself and take advantage of.
Have the opportunity. This is-
Yeah, don't be afraid of it. You know, the residential realtors, and loan officers, they don't like to get involved because they either gave a deal away to somebody and it went bad, so they don't like to refer the business out, or we see that all the time. Or B, they're just afraid of it. And last year when we started on this journey, we started out at a Keller Williams office in Whittier in August of 2022, and we started down this path. Never knew that we would get to the point of where we're building education systems now pretty much for free for the realtor and the loan officer. But yeah, don't be afraid of it, man. It's having basic conversations, because in the end, you are in the people business, in the relationship business, and it's the same exact thing. You're solving the problem and you're doing the same thing with Resi. Like, don't be afraid of it. And if you're afraid of it and you have a deal and you want to refer it out, you'll still get paid. There's a lot of people who will take that deal still.
Yeah, the most of the problems that we see in the commercial is the lack of information that we have. And, you know, always, like you say, we're people business, so we always have people that talk to us about getting a loan, but every time you talk to a commercial banks, they're very harsh to give money away. Like,
Well,
they get it too complicated to asking too many things, and the people just walk away.
Well, and that's why that's why you're a residential loan broker. And that's why I'm a commercial loan broker, because you want to be the conduit and you want to be able to massage the story and tell the story before it gets to any bank. Because let me tell you, the amount of bank turndowns that my office is getting right now is through the roof. The banks are not lending shit right now. They have pulled back tremendously. And so that's where it pays to have the resources from that we go to that are outside of banks to get deals done, because in my opinion, banks are going to be holding back lending for at least another 12 months.
You know, Christopher, in preparation for this training that's coming up, I guess the 90-day training, would it behoove us to prepare ourselves, to prep ourselves by understanding how to determine net operating income and so on and so forth before we go into the determining cap rates, the SCRs, and how all that works?
Yeah, I would tell you to learn the lending aspect first, because it sucks to say this, but if you learn the lending program, it'll help expedite your CRE, your commercial real estate realtor growth. Because the lending, I get calls from commercial guys that are experienced all the time that are, hey, what's going on during this asset class? And I truly believe if you learn the lending aspect, it'll help multiply you on the commercial aspect. So I think my team is, I think I have Tanya is maybe on this call for my team. And if she's on it, Tanya, let's take some notes and let's get them on their own training and let's expedite them as soon as we can. I'll put you in contact with the right people. I think I see you're logged in here.
Yeah. We will connect. I'm speaking to Jesse right now. We can organize something. So we can start maybe next month, you know, to put in us who are the loan officers who really are interested in doing the program, so they can get certified in 90 days, and also to, you know, like give opportunities, because the more they know, the more opportunities they can have.
Correct. Yes, Chris, I will write you down.
Yeah, I would, I want to start learning this like 2 weeks ago. So Christopher, do you have an email or something where we can send and find out, even if it's just shadowing those other trainings you put on and then trying to put together pieces as we get our own training figured out? Is there, how could we send you an email just with like our info and any I put it this way, our team has been asking commercial lenders to try to teach us when we refer files over, just even how to take an SBA app, anything. And it's been such a closed door. You have no idea how excited we are to know that you're willing to share this information. And so, yeah.
I love hearing
We're
that.
jumping over here, buddy.
Yeah.
We are jumping at joy.
The commercial realtors and the commercial banks, man, they even talk bad about when they hear that we're offering these to residential, man, they get pissed at us. Like, it's like they control this, like, you don't control shit, okay? We're going to give it to the realtors. We're going to give it to the loan officers. And that's that. Believe me, we get the cold shoulder too. But then all of a sudden their loans have to, they always end up circling back to us. So screw them. So I just sent you 2 emails. Tanya is on the, it's actually, I messed up her email. It's actually, I put it in the chat, T Soto at the Foster Co. She's my assistant. She'll schedule it. And then Chris at Foster RE is mine. Sometimes it takes me 2 days to get to my emails, but I will make sure that we put you guys on something. And if I need to add an additional Zoom, I will make sure I do. So please make sure you email Tanya or myself, and then we get on.
Chris, we're going to do through our company. So the people who are interested in this workshop, so please send me an email so we can put everybody together, and I would send to Jesse, and we can put together with Chris. So please, we go directly through iCor Lending.
Yeah, it's no problem. Regardless, regardless, we're here. Well, yes, Oregon or whoever was talking. Yeah, there's a ton of opportunity. Start telling, start spreading the message. Yes, you do commercial. In the meantime, we'll get you up and running, but don't say no to deals. You have our number, and then I'll work directly with ICOR staff over there, and it's not even a problem. They've been very, very easy to work with. We've been talking. They've been trying to expedite this also, just so you know. So we'll make sure we get on it, and I'm very excited for you guys. You guys are going to bring a whole new element.
Yeah, and also Arizona too. You know, we have Arizona, Florida, and Oregon who are interested in getting to this.
Yeah.
Yes, we're very interested. I actually need to refine my commercial loan.
Is it an investment property?
It's a rental. I have a hard money on it right now. It's worth like 1.2 and then I owe like 500. I need to refinance that. So I'm gonna be calling you.
Yeah, if you know any business owners right now, if I can leave this conversation, because I've got to jump, I've got to be somewhere in 20 minutes, but if I can leave this conversation, if you're into making calls or texts, if it's just a simple text, send a text out that you are now connected and have the resources to add commercial real estate and commercial loans and can assist them in any manner that they need. Start out with that message. Next week, make sure you follow up with them 7 days later. So if you use a CRM, set it up. I'm telling you right now, I had people make 10 calls yesterday, and I have a gal who has 5 appointments out of it. It's just people don't know. They don't know where to go. So you're going to be the conduit and the resource. So as we say, let's fucking go.
Yes.
Let's fucking go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm excited, guys. Super excited. I thank you. I appreciate ICOR giving us the opportunity to put you guys in a winning situation. Again, I apologize how everything went down, but if you get to know me, we're very high energy. We get shit done. We're going to tell you it's a deal within 24 hours. We're going to tell you if it's not a deal. We're not going to sit on your shit. I got to run. Have a great day.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, sir.
much.
God bless.
God bless.
Thank
Talk-
you.
Thank you.